Whoa, I went dark on my light.
Let's get into it. 1, 2, 3. Let's get some more. Have it in. Get some more. Let's get some more.
Hello, and hey, it froze up. What do you want me to do? That's the first thing I saw. I knew everything was locked up, but the first thing I saw was right now, so I can't do anything about it. So, sorry about that. My computer is having some technical lagging difficulties at the moment, so my apologies. But welcome to the new year and My Whiskey Den, your favorite public access whiskey review show where craft whiskey is king. And this evening, we're going to talk a little bit about what we did over the holidays. Anything fun, anything exciting. I have a little list of stuff, but I just want to thank everyone for showing up and being here. If I am not in the chat right now, it's because, like I said, my computer is a little bit slow. Before we go any further, though, Mike, would you like to tell the lovely people watching about the Bar Cart Co-op?
I would love to tell both the lovely people and the ugly people about the Bar Cart Co-op. One of us. Okay, we are proud members of the Bar Cart Co-op, which is a collection of friends who create content for the whiskey and other distilled spirits public. The Bar Cart Co-op YouTube and Facebook pages have information about upcoming and past special shows, which happen about every quarter. From blind tastings to distiller panels to discussions of special collaborations and the usage of unique grains, Bar Cart Co-op has educational and fun episodes for your enjoyment. The oldest show in the group is Distillers Talk, which is hosted by Christy Atkinson and Alan Bishop. It's a conversation with people from distilleries and distillery adjacent that gets into deep and sometimes off the rails and back again discussions with their interviews. New episodes arrive at the end of the work week. And if that is not nerdy enough, please check out One Piece at a Time Distilling Institute. This is the show where Alan Bishop answers any questions about distilling and often puts them to the test. It could be individual grains, entire mash bills, equipment, or methodology. New episodes come out randomly, so subscribe. And then there is the smoothest voice on the internet, Bourbon Turntable, where they mix the love of music with the love of whiskey. There's conversations with musicians, writers, distillery folks, and common folks about music and whiskey. It releases every Wednesday on all your platforms, including YouTube. Earlier today, there was a live episode of the year end, which I've heard. I have not been able to listen to it yet, but I heard it was a banger. And coming up, there's going to be a repost of the Turntable Roundtable that I was on with Steve Coombs, and my phone and watch needs to shut up, with Steve Coombs and David Levine. Then there's going to be next week, they're going to start doing encore presentations for a few weeks on the Bourbon Turntable. Then we have If You Have Ghosts, You Have Everything, which is a show about the spirits and paranormal among us, as well as the unexplained and the spiritual. Subscribe on Spotify to get all 4 previous seasons and the 5th one that is in progress. And last but not least, we have the aforementioned Mr. David Levine, who 2 weeks ago, I would have said David Levine does all things well except fantasy football. However, David is he's officially not in last place in fantasy football. So here's to David, who didn't do anything with any of his players at all,
but
all season long.
The last week or two,
he came from the bowels of it. But David with the Whiskey Ring podcast, David does really great interviews. He does very good whiskey reviews. Does a good job of keeping track of them. David also has a very thorough and well thought out, reasoned and insightful awards that he gives out as well. So please check out David and the Whiskey Ring podcast. And as we say, David does the things that we don't do.
Well, you need to have the yin to the yang,
Somebody's got to balance it out somehow.
Yeah, that's true.
I thought Alan was balancing it out.
Alan's balancing himself out.
Yeah. This is true.
So, all right. Well, you brought up one thing. I caught a little bit of Kevin's show this morning, and it was fantastic. There was a couple parts in there, little ways in, that I thought he touched on a very good point about, I don't want to, let's call it like truth and labeling. Just a more defined. Basically, he was going over how I think it was New Little Book Batch could have stuff from all 4 generations when the Booker was gone beforehand, and it would have had to sit in the vat for like 20 years. Or how did you come about marrying these all together, which, like he said at one point, would be, to my knowledge, would be part of the story that you would want to explain how that all happened, rather than making it seem like that was pulling teeth to understand, which I thought was fucking fantastic point. But like he said, he did really enjoy the whiskey. I thought it was great, so that was beside the point. But just, how the approach was done, and still information kind of needed to be shed, and I'd like to understand it as well too, because we like math here. We like when things add up. That's all. So I follow in that kind of with that. So Kevin, that was an excellent start, and congratulations on this last year, because you had a hell of a year with the guests and people you had on, and a nice variety, especially for the background and style of the show, man. So congratulations.
Kevin. Honestly, it's really impressive. I think the most impressive thing, and this sounds bad, but the most impressive thing I think Kevin has done so far is had to delay his show multiple times because of all the information that was leaked to him that was not supposed to be, just because he's such a good guy and a good interviewer.
That's true. He did follow the rules on so many occasions, which the people who own the companies should like.
Well, yeah, you would.
I'm not the leak. I mean, they have a show about being the mole, so I figure that's. All right.
I mean, hey, I've never been in that position before, right? Like, hey, Mitch, don't tell anyone.
Ooh, nice spins.
Yeah, whatever you do, Mitch.
I'm not going to argue with some red wine and skirt steak. Nice job, Spence. Nice way to spend the New Year day.
Spencer's a fancy boy.
I know, but so I can go. I had a couple things happen while I was over. Talked to you guys last, or some stuff. What'd you get for Christmas? Type of things as well too. Certain gifts. I wouldn't say, sorry, I don't know what the hell that was. I wouldn't say I got anything too whiskey related. I did get a new glass with our updated logo, which is kind of nice. I dig that. I just got it for my sister-in-law, so I like that. Of course, I got a new Nerf gun. Some get damaged and broken over time, but Gavin got a new one as well too. But his has a new type of dart, where it's not like the hole in the end; it's like a little circle piece that sticks out, and the end is not as rubbery. It's a little tight dart, and the things fly like hell. You have to buy all new ones, but the clip on his gun is significantly better than mine. I look like I'm having problems with like an old like Russian gun, and I'm shaking the bottom of it to get the clip out. He's just like click, click, boom, and I'm like, I got the wrong gun, or I feel like they colluded against me on this to get him this far superior gun. But at least I got one, so I'm back on the board with that, because we were running out here. You've had children, and Mitch, I think you've played with Nerf guns a few times. That's just fun.
Yeah, let's just say that.
It'd be funny if while you said that, all of a sudden a dart came flying off the side. Morgan screaming, "I'll get you!"
I told you to put your dishes away. And I got something else. I got a grounding blanket and floor pad. Like this, just because I want to try it. Sorry, I remember looking into it when my dad was a master electrician, probably like 20 years ago, and I don't know, just always been intrigued. So for what it was, it finally showed up from Australia. It took a long boat to get here, but we're gonna try and play with that. So I didn't get too much. What I got whiskey related is I got some money for a couple banners and maybe some shirts coming up that looking at getting printed. So we'll let you guys know about that. I have some other stuff that happened, but what did you guys get for presents over the holiday weekend?
Mitch, go ahead, please.
Or Hanukkah, whatever thing you. So whatever someone gives you presents.
Krampus.
Did he take your shit?
Not yet.
I woke up and I was missing 4 boxes.
I mean, if you take my boxes, I'd be pumped about that. In Lincoln, you have to pay extra for recycling, and you're not allowed to put cardboard in trash. So awesome. So my girlfriend asked me what I wanted, and I was like, whiskey. And she was like, no, you don't know what whiskey you don't have, so I'm not getting you whiskey. And I was like, okay. She asked what else I wanted. I said, books about whiskey. And she got really mad because she also was like, I'm not going to go through your entire book collection and see what books you don't have about whiskey. But she got me books about whiskey, so that's awesome. She got me 2 bottles. One was a bottle of rum, and the other was a mezcal, but flavored with botanicals like it's a gin. So I haven't cracked that one open yet, but I am pretty excited about it. And then allegedly my biggest present was an air still, like Jesse has on his Stillet channel that he uses kind of for all his small scale experimental distillations.
Well, you say allegedly, but those are able to be purchased online in these United States of America and ship to your domicile in the United States of America legally. Yeah.
So that's not anything bad.
Yeah. What? I mean, allegedly.
Allegedly.
Well, but I mean, all it is.
I got to make distilled water from my CPAP machine.
Yeah, it's just a centerpiece, and for making and for saving $1 on the very expensive distilled water.
Yes. So, yes.
Absolutely.
That's fair.
Yeah. I wish Morgan was on, but she's not feeling well again, and she was like, "I'm going to take a bath before I come on," and I was like, "Okay." And then I went upstairs to be like, "Hey, babe, do you want to like side by side it or get on your laptop?"
Whoa.
She was asleep.
Good for her.
I was like, "Hey, babe," just snored louder. And I was like, okay.
Who needs a CPAP now?
Yeah, Emily's right. For educational purposes only.
Absolutely.
100%.
That's the way you get away with it. But we'll have to hear about how you're maybe you make flavored distilled water of some nature. Yeah.
Probably I'll need to. Well, I need to make something on it first that I throw away because, you don't want to break in a new still with new good product.
No. But, you could practice your job to make sure that your skills are up to snuff.
Just, crack your fingers, get yourself feeling back into it.
Slowly but surely.
Yeah. Speaking of,
hey, Richard.
Richard, I was going to message you. I'll just call you out. I would really like it if you'd be interested in coming back on and talking about your the provisioner.
Absolutely.
Not to put you on the spot, because you could clearly say no in the chat, and it's totally fine. It's not the worst thing that would be said in the chat.
It's not the worst thing that has been said in the chat.
Or the show. Good Lord.
Yeah,
some of the things I've said on the show, I'm like, "Oh, Mitch, never drink again." Or be
again, Mitch.
I've only had like 2 moments where I've been like, eject.
Yeah. You promised you wouldn't do this, Mitch.
I didn't mean to do that. Yeah. I see where this is going, and there's no good way out. Great. So, all right, Mike, did you get anything for Christmas?
Not really.
Not really.
I mean, kind of, but not really. So we had more of our dramatic fun right before Christmas. My oldest dog turned 16, and so for his 16th birthday, I had to revive him 4 times in less than 10 minutes, and he spent the night in the ER. Basically, what's boiled down to is he's no health issues or anything like that, but he's got a heart problem. So we've got he's taking pills, but the other alternative is to have surgery and have a pacemaker, which will fix the problem. He's 16 years old. He's not going to have surgery and get a pacemaker. But talk to my 3 kids. Like, okay, are we in agreement that this is Christmas? And everyone's like, yeah. So it's okay. So, I mean, everyone got a little something, and I got the kids like some sweets and things like that, and had our traditional Chinese food on Christmas Eve. So that was our
that was cool. I think that's a good tradition.
It's what my next door neighbor who's now no longer with us, but Mel was he and his wife, wonderful neighbors, but Mel's an older Jewish gentleman, and he used to always say, I don't know why you Gentiles get so wound up over the holidays. You should just do what we do and go eat Chinese food. And so when we were when we no longer had to go or had the obligation because of a parent in out of state, so we didn't have to do that anymore. We're like, well, we can actually have Christmas at our house, and so we started having Jewish Christmas and having Chinese food, and so it's turned into a really fun thing. So anyway, so it was fun. Yeah, we had to work around some logistics with the Chinese food, but other than that, it was good. And I've got a cousin who has relocated to the area, so he was over both days of the big Christian holiday. And then, and I've just been off work since the middle of December. So I have to go back tomorrow, and I'm not wanting to.
We have to get off early
so I can get back into a routine and remember what day it is. But I also, So that's why it was pretty, for the most part, low key.
That's fair. Completely understandable. Let's see here. Couple fun things I did over from Christmas to now. There's a new place in town that does rock climbing, and there's like a free climb wall that's not too big, and then where they have the really, really, really tall walls. There's probably about 6 or 7 of them have that auto climb, little hookup thing, and then you can climb on your own without having to have someone counterbalance you. That's actually pretty cool. I was gonna say Gavin and I spent maybe an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours there, and he was like, I think we gotta stop. And then I did like one more, and I looked down at my hands. I'm like, yep, you're right, it's time to go. I haven't done even like my hands are all screwed up too. It's been a while, but yeah, that was actually way more fun than I thought it would be. That was pretty cool.
So I'll have to send you I can send you the video, but I'll describe this. We went to Estes Park, and this is a camp. We were doing climbing there. Anyway, we went to go do it. Got geared up and everything to go do it. And I was taking some pictures of because there were children involved, and it was my youngest had just she was getting ready to start high school, so it was the end of her 8th grade year. So I look over, and I got my whole gear on. I'm getting ready to go, and I look over and I see this 3/4 view of the person who is doing the. I think I could be wrong. They were basically the spotter, and they said on belay, and you say back, but then they would say, are you okay, pumpkin? And then they were supposed to reply back with like, ready on belay cupcake. That's what they wanted him to say. But this is what I see when I look over. And remember, I'm 12 years old, because they got the rope. You got to. So I get this 3/4 view, and this is what I see. and they're saying cupcake, pumpkin. It was back and forth, and I started snickering. And then this other dad that was there, he's like, what's so funny? And I go, just come over here. And we go, and then there was one of the other. There were three workers. There's one of the other workers. It was, so he starts laughing, and then we can't stop laughing. And so then there were some moms who were there, and they're like, "What are you two idiots doing?" And we're like, and one of them who also she's a mom, but a 12-year-old boy. It's like, come here, and so go there. So then we just couldn't do it. I'm like, there's no way I'm climbing now. There's absolutely no way that I can climb at this point. So instead, I just took videos of them doing that.
That's funny. Not what you would expect either. That's
No, because it was like what, and there was one guy who was really into it, and that just made it worse.
I think you meant better.
It was cringeworthy now because of it.
And I was laughing too hard to cringe, but it was great.
The other thing I did is a couple days before New Year's, we my one, let's call it like great nephew was in town. He was celebrating his 5th birthday, and we went over to Aaron's Hill, or where the Packer Stadium is. They have a little section that branches off where I call it Lambeau World, but they have it's just like Jerry World. Everyone has a section where they have some land where they make extra money off it to stay in business for what they're doing, and that's part of the Packers land over there. But they have Aaron's Hill where they have a big sledding hill, and they take a section underneath it and they turn that into an ice skating rink, and then it has a little section where you go around and they have heaters and fires going and stuff like that, and selling knickknacks and other things. But I was going to say, I actually went there, and minus the skate rental section of the evening, it was really, really nice. I was happy. I was proud to see that section, because if you went there, I think it reflected well on the city. It was just all around looked nice, like a good feel for what you're going to go to if you were coming here. It put off what it was meant to. Now, skate rental, that's a whole different story. Apparently, they don't know the difference between figure skates and hockey skates at all. Figure skates the figure skates I got because Gavin's feet were like a 13, and that's what they had figure skates in. And I was like, all right, well, I'll take figure skates too. Came out in a boot that looked like I was going skiing, downhill skiing. That's a hockey skate, everybody. I don't know. Well, a figure skate has leather. It's more pliable. You have more ankle turn and stuff, where this was, it was a plastic boot. I get it from their standpoint. People are going to fall and damage it and beat the hell out of it. So this is sturdy. So yes, I get it. But then just tell people they're all hockey skates. That's fine. It would be okay to do that rather than 50 people. And my shoe size, I don't know if they weren't paying attention. It must have shrank from a size 10 to what may have been a size 7 that may have fit me properly. I think I may have just been getting whatever boots were there in replacement. Minus that, that was a really great evening. Until the moment where we got a call that my sister-in-law's dog had ran away from my father-in-law, and it wasn't wearing its collar. So then we left and started a hunt for the dog, where I spent like 3 hours on a scooter in winter. You can't hear a dog if you're driving around in a car, really. You have to be going slow, and there are some spots where you couldn't. But they found the dog eventually, so that was pretty sweet. I did not think that was going to happen. Hey, there's a needle in the haystack, and it's pitch black out. The dog is yay big, and it's skittish. It came back for its mother, and even that was a bit a bit iffy. She drove back a couple hours and found it off the highway in the ditch when they were pulling off. Like, where should we start looking? I was like, I think she's over there.
That's a really good spot to start looking. Is
Yeah,
right
I'm
Where
like,
don't we want to find the dog?
yeah. And I was like, oh, that was awesome. I can't believe that, that worked out. So, but I was tired. That was a lot of work for me. Rock climbing, something else, and then scootering around for 3 hours. I was spent by 10 o'clock that night.
So I have a question. Aaron's World, is that Aaron as in Aaron Rodgers?
No, Aaron's as in
Okay.
Aaron's snowblowers or lawnmowers,
okay.
the company.
All right. I was just thinking, it's like, well, God, if they're going to do that, then they've got to have, Brett Favre's.
They all have a
Palace.
street. Yeah, that would actually, they didn't go that route, but that would be kind of neat. But yeah, I can see why they didn't. By the way, that whole Aaron Rodgers thing has gone the last couple years, but I'm sure he'll be back at some point because we do that with everyone that wins Super
They always
Bowls.
come back.
Yeah, I'm like, well, he was here, he was fine. So that was my other in the middle of the day, weird kind of didn't expect it to happen part of the evening. And last night Gavin stayed up till midnight. He beat Sherry. We had to wake her back up.
Morgan and I.
Yeah, we did fondue for the first time, and Gavin likes pretzels and other stuff, so like that. And we had a charcuterie board, so we did that, and then we played Mario Kart to see who would win the last race of the year. And apparently we were only playing one race because he won that race and then promptly said we were playing something else and shut it down. And I was like, hey, we have hours. We can get it. He's like, no, you said the last race of the year.
Right.
That was it.
See you next year, Dad.
You didn't place somehow. So I'm like, all right, fine. That's the way it's going to be. And let's see. Oh, the game he got that we liked, that if you are into board games, and I dig them, is Ticket to Ride.
Oh,
It's a fucking awesome game. I never would have thought that. We played it a year ago or so. We got the kids edition. Don't get the kids edition. Just get the adult edition. It's the extra nuance to it makes it way better on that. Even for Gavin, was kind of pissed that didn't have that. But you basically put together section routes throughout sections of the country, and you get cards, and you have to put certain routes together or choose what to do. Basically become like a railroad baron, and it's pretty fucking cool. Because you can block people out. There's some little offensive, defensive, and nuanced things to it. But that game that's one of the most fun games I've played in a while, and new ones that I really liked. I'm like, okay, that was a cool game, and I would recommend that. I don't normally do that with board games, but Ticket to Ride. I'd play that with anybody. It's pretty fun.
So I used to play that a lot.
Yeah.
And there were people who took it way too seriously.
Oh, I'm sure.
They would memorize. So, right, those cards he was talking about, it's like link this place to this place. So they just memorized every card in the deck. So they would just see what you were trying to link and be like, okay, so he's going here to here. So what card could he possibly have? And then just try and screw you over.
Yeah.
And as like a new player who's just like, there are cards, like you're like, oh, whoa, this is a little too competitive here, man. And he's just like, you got
Zurich to Rome. Where is Zurich? Okay.
Yeah, and you're just there, like, and then you come out and you're like, I have negative points, and they're like, yeah, I beat you by a lot. And you're just like, okay. I don't know if I want to play this game with you anymore, man.
Yeah, should be new destinations.
So, well, the kids version doesn't have the points for connecting the routes. They just have the routes, and whoever has the most at one point wins. And I'm like, all right, that's fine. But I'm like, that other way is sneakier, and you feel better about yourself. Like if you lose, it's like, I lost, but I was the second richest in the world. one false move and his oil tycoon was going to go over. Plus, we play it a little bit like we do Monopoly, so we'll talk a little garbage about someone's railroads every now and then.
Talk smack.
Yeah, well, they don't take care of them. You know, they try to run all these like passenger trains, and all they usually do is run oil and land animal cars and stuff. It just smells bad on your train tracks. It's terrible.
Transport.
It's awful.
Oil, people, food.
Yeah. You got to clean that up. So, no, but those were a couple of things that popped up. It's just far from then till now. It was a little bit different. Do you guys have anything exciting happen through New Year's? Or did you make it to New Year's? I don't know if I would have. I probably would have taken a nap earlier.
I did. I couldn't sleep, and I had a goal while I was off of work that I was going to binge one series, and I was talking with one of my doctor visits is newest doctor who is Irish, and it's very matter of fact and everything else. And then finally I said, "Can I ask you a stupid American question?" It's like, what? It's like, what part of Ireland are you from? And then we start talking Ireland and whatever it is. Anyway, got on the subject of like Irish music and Irish TV and things like that. And I had said I have not watched, but I had planned on watching Dairy Girls because I wanted it. It was in my list of things to watch. And so then we really got into it. So I go back like a month or two later and had a follow up. And first thing she walks in and she goes, "Remind me, did we leave off on music or were we talking about TV?" And I said, "Dairy Girls." She goes, "Okay." And so anyway, she's like, "MY." I go, no, I want to do it on break. So I did finish Dairy Girls. So, which I highly recommend watching if you haven't seen that, because it was quite entertaining.
That's cool. I had it.
Yeah, that was my big accomplishment, other than doing some cleaning and doing some other things of my meal prep that I do.
Just playing catch up on the year is enough at this time of year.
Taking care of car maintenance that had to be taken care of other maintenance, some house maintenance, some cleaning. It was just stuff like that. So, and I took a couple naps. So that was my excitement. But yeah,
Mitchie, did you make it to midnight?
Nope. We went to bed about 11:05.
Oh, that's right. You're East Coast time, though. No, you're not.
No,
you're Central. So you did fine. You're just on Kentucky time still.
So we stayed up to watch the New Year's Eve, like New York ball drop, kissed, had a champagne toast, and we're like, "I'm ready for bed. How about you?" Absolutely, right? So we went to bed. Let's see here. Fun thing, we went to a Brazilian steakhouse for New Year's Eve. That was actually really fun. So,
fancy.
Yeah, sure, fancy. I mean,
how many different meats did you have?
I'm sorry, what?
Well, let Mike go first. Sorry.
Did you get? Was it Fogo de Chao?
No, it was called Rodizio or something like that.
All right, I've heard of that place. How many different types of meat did you have?
Probably like 9 or 10.
It's a fair question. You know what I mean?
No, it is. I've never been to the one, because I always thought that'd be something I really gotta gear up for it to really have the whole experience.
Yeah. I didn't eat that day, right? Went there so I could just pig out. And then,
when you do that, it's almost like you want to slow down on the first few pieces, because you're going to eat those like nothing.
Well, you got to eat as fast as you can. You got to eat as much as you can before your body realizes you're full. Right? That's the plan. And then
you got that 3-minute window where it's not in correlation yet.
Yeah, so I ended up getting the meat sweats, and I was sitting across from Morgan, and I was like, "Oh my god, I have the meat sweats." And she looked at me and she's like, "You have the everything sweats right now. Like, you just look miserable." And I was like, "I am. I'll have another, please." And I had 2 more pieces of meat, and she's like, "You are an idiot, right?
Go purge."
But they did the grilled pineapple with some sort of sauce on it, and that was, oh my goodness, fantastic.
That's something I've had a few
That's why you
times.
were sweating. You introduced fruit into your diet.
Yeah,
That was the
sugar.
last thing I did.
Yeah, a bunch of sugar right at the end of
Yeah.
all the protein.
And Morgan got a plate from the sides, and it was, like carrots and hummus and broccoli and stuff like that. And I was like, what are you doing? Every piece of broccoli you eat is a bite of steak you don't. Like, I will make you as much broccoli as you want at home for $1. Eat steak.
Oh, did you get the octopus salad? Emily wants to know. I'm gonna guess
No, they didn't have octopus salad there that I saw. They had a seafood salad, but I was not concentrating on their sides.
That's what.
Yeah, 100%.
If they're walking around with sticks of meat, you're carving it off on your
You were
plate, it's
strictly
hard to-
land mammals only.
I did have some fish, so yeah.
It
So
did
not
branch out.
entirely. I'm sorry?
It was on accident.
Yeah, kind of, but yeah, because the people bringing it around, they would say the Brazilian name for stuff, so I just said yes to everything.
That's a whole nother afternoon.
Oh Lord.
That's a
They didn't
two shirt day.
Yeah, they didn't have everything that was on the menu though, so I was a little disappointed because my plan was like have one of everything, and I didn't see any lamb, and they didn't have any bacon wrapped shrimp that I saw.
Oh,
So,
that's my first favorite food wrapped around my third favorite food.
thanks, Ron. Then we went to kind of our favorite bar, which is Jake's Cigar Bar, and I got my first 3 Facebook friends from Nebraska, and Morgan got her first 1, which is very
Wow.
exciting for us because everyone is 12 hours away, with the exception of you two.
Hey,
So,
every-
and they all work at Jake's, so I'm up there so much that they're just like, yeah, I guess we're friends now.
Yeah.
Hey, well, you guys have.
I have your credit card information. I guess we're friends.
I mean, I've also brought in a case of liquor 4 separate occasions, every time completely different, and they're always
Allegedly.
like, "Ooh, what do you have this time?"
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Hey,
Yeah.
those
I
are
don't
the right
sell it,
type
so
of
it's
people.
legal in Nebraska, right?
Yeah, he's got a point there.
Yeah, Spencer's got a point.
You got a point there.
Wait, are you in Nebraska?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
Morgan knows this. Yeah.
How am I this bad at life? Like, Jesus. Why haven't we hung out?
I think he's in the Omaha.
Yeah, I
What's
thought he was the Omaha area is where
Yeah.
it was.
What? What?
Yeah,
So I have heart
yeah.
trouble, and I think it's messing with my brain. So I just don't remember things anymore. That's going to be my excuse.
Yeah.
Not
Give a side
that I
of
don't
a side
pay
of
attention,
CRS.
or that I'm just bad at remembering details.
That's the best one I've heard. Sorry. Sorry about that, everybody. But that's awesome. This actually, I have heart trouble, so I can't remember stuff. Just take it all at once.
That's just going to be my excuse for everything now. It's like, I'm sorry, I can't hear that well. I have heart trouble. I'm sorry, I was speeding. I have heart trouble. Right? Like,
Are you gonna get one of those bracelets, but yours is gonna be special instead of having the medic alert that's gonna have like whiskey bottles on it, and just say
If this happens, get me a bottle of this. If this
Yes.
happens, get me a George T. steak.
if unable to resuscitate, please pour Lagavulin. Or
Yeah. don't use smelling salts. Just rub the peat under my nose.
Oh, story time. So there's a guy at work who brings in just crazy things like super hot sauce or whatever. And he brought in smelling salts.
Oh,
Holy crap. 2 thumbs up because I can't have caffeine anymore. Smelling salts, they're the new caffeine.
I've heard that about them. I haven't had any. Should we do a smelling salts show?
No.
I mean, not unless you want to just be there like, oh, whoa, hey, how's it going, everybody? Like,
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that first reaction. That is kind of what I'm going for.
That would almost be that'd be like one of those joke things where you're like, you have to smell something. You have to smell a smelling salt while carrying on a conversation with somebody.
Oh, hey, or that could be take a hot ones or smelling salts.
Yeah, I did see another good one that
Choose
was
their dab, and it both go. It's both bad.
People they had hooked up the tens machines. They had them hooked up to their hands, and they were trying to stack things while they had the tens going off. And if they successfully stacked it, then they got to turn up the other person's machine. And so they're like doing this crippled shake, trying to do this thing. And it was pretty entertaining.
That's great.
Oh, that's nice, Spencer.
Mm.
Yeah.
That sounds really good. Yeah, they should do that.
Yeah.
He would have told you about that on Facebook.
Yeah.
He could have told me about that in person if I'd realized he was 45 minutes away. Oh, Lord.
That's all right. That's all
I'm not
right.
doing too well.
Hey, it's all good. So, tens. I can't keep up with all that. That's all right, though. Well, I was going to say, I didn't do too much else. All I got going on the rest of this week is we are going to Lake Geneva for Sherry's 50th birthday. She wanted to get away and not.
I think you mean her 30th birthday.
Yeah, well, whatever. She doesn't want to celebrate it, and that's it. we're going away to make sure that I cannot throw some giant party, which is okay, because I'm cool with just laying low and doing a couple of small family things for a few days, and I haven't been off if I wasn't sick at work for a few months now, and I could use a couple of days of not there. So we're stepping out for a few days, but I will be back for next Monday, which I don't know. We got to talk to Mitch. What do your Mondays look like? What do your weeks look like coming this news? Okay.
I don't have any more Mondays in January off.
Never mind. We'll talk afterwards. I'll talk after the show, and we will have an update for everyone out there, because I think it'd be good to have Mitch tell us what some of his whiskeys of the year were. I mean, unless you want to impart everything to Morgan, which
I
feel
feel
like
like everything already, but
I know, but
so
it'd be nice to have you on the show, Mitch. That's all I'm saying.
Well, yeah.
I can do that.
That's good.
I already know what Morgan's whiskey of the year is.
What do you think it is?
Don't tell us.
What?
I can't tell you. I know what it is.
But I wanna
she
know.
went, "This is my whiskey of the year," and gave me a pour of it.
There's two of them that I could see this of, and I think I remember one of the two, but I can't remember the name of the other one, so it's gonna bug me.
So this year has been really weird for me because this year I got into other things like really hard, not just whiskey. So,
well, the specialty category will be rather difficult. Drugs.
I'm on a lot more drugs now that I have a heart doctor.
That's the good stuff.
Yeah. Hey, Mitch, how do you feel? Not like death. All right. Well, there we go.
Hardest part's faking a heart problem.
The red ones, what is it? The white ones pick me up. The blue ones calm me down. The orange ones keep the devil from dancing all around.
The orange ones for me keep my heart from going. And I ran out of them, so I didn't take it for a day. And
you might be taking the same drug my dog is, or one of them.
If I am, you can send me any extra you got.
That's just going to be like, what's the dosage?
The problem with his is he's only supposed to take, because he's not very big. He's supposed to take a quarter of what the smallest dosage that you can get in pill form is, and the pills are not easy to quarter. You have to use a razor blade, and they still won't
quarter.
They crumble. So basically, you have to, every time you give a dosage, it's kind of like that's about a quarter. That's a hyocyclamine, is what he's
I think
what
mine's
he's taking. So
propanolol.
I don't know. Maybe it's generic. I'm just saying, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe
you
you're
never
on
know.
name brand for your dog. I mean,
Do you have insurance for the dog?
Oh
The name
no,
brand
and finding it was a pain because they were trying to get that dosage or liquid and they couldn't do it. And so we called within a 45-minute radius to try to figure it out, and ultimately they give me names of 2 places in New Jersey that will make a pill in any size, and also it's not called concentrating it. Anyway, name escapes me and doesn't matter. So when we get around to doing the renewal, might end up with custom pills. We have no idea, because cutting them up is kind of a fun chore because they're rounded too. So they're almost a circle. So
you almost want something to hold both the sides as you're razor blading it down, and even then,
I've got a pill
break,
slicer,
right?
but the pill slicer blade is not sharp enough, even though it's extremely sharp. So you put it in a pill slicer, and you're doing like 80s movie cocaine villain, and you're just dicing these things up.
Now I just have a picture of like your dog and Spuds McKenzie doing lines.
Yeah, with Tony Mantegna in the background. Compounding. See, yeah. Emily's always on it.
Yep.
True.
She knows all the words.
All right. I think I'm pretty good. I don't have too much else the rest. Do you guys have anything else before we hop off here?
You had also said, what's your resolution?
Oh, a resolution for this year. Easy one, to be a little more attentive to everyone on the program. Life last year got a little distracting, would be a way to put that at points, and I was not fully focused here as I should be. I don't know if fully focused is the right word for the show, but I didn't put enough attention this way, so my apologies. That, and I want to do a couple more live tastings this coming year with stuff. So that's hence the banner, table banner I'm getting for the show.
Ta-da.
Mitch?
Mine. So my actual one that I told Morgan was to make her laugh every day. So far, I made it today. So one day down.
Hey, 2025, 100%. You're 100%.
So far, we're going to make it. Alcohol related, I'm not sure. Man. What I'd really like to do this year is get out that Bosaw project I'm working on and be able to share a bottle of that around.
That would be interesting. Once you get to that point, could create some events for you.
That'd be nice.
Same. That would be fun. You do.
That's your resolution.
Nice one, Spence.
Remember who you are and where you live. Like it's a resolution because it'll never happen, unfortunately.
Clearly he knows where you live.
At this point, you just got to find out my schedule and show up and be like, hey, and I'll be like, oh my God, you drove 14 hours to see me. And you'll be like, or 45 minutes. And I'll be like, what? And we'll have this whole conversation.
Hey, take the 14 hours and go, yeah, don't you remember? We scheduled it. I'm sleeping here too.
He might have your schedule. You don't know that.
You could get it from me or Emily at this point, or Morgan, or y'all.
Maybe we should start doing that schedule with Mitch for classes. People just show up on his day off. Hey, I'm here. I have a whiskey class you're teaching me today.
Yeah.
Like, what was the title of that again?
Whatever Mitch has. You get to peruse Mitch's shelves for 3 hours.
Just have a jar out for free will donation to help to replenish bottles.
We've seen how that works.
It's not a bar.
It's not
Well, I mean, there's a and I don't. I'm trying to make sure I don't say anything because I don't want to get anybody in trouble. But it's somebody who does have. It's got built a snug in their basement, and it's delightful. And it's really nice setup and everything. But he'll do this. He or she will do a tasting or host a tasting, whatever. But it is free will donation. But it's actually not for him. He works for a not-for-profit. And so
that makes way more
you
sense.
go over and do that, and that free will donation goes to the not-for-profit. So it's kind of like, yeah, I mean,
well, then it's kind of, I want to say no-brainer, but you're going to probably spend that amount anyways, and it's going to a decent cause. It makes you feel better about it.
yeah, and he's been the site host for me twice because he has the setup, and I just did the same thing. It's just like, let's just do the free will. As much as, yes, I would like to have, money is always good, but it's like, that's cool because, like, come at us, tax man.
And they will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We haven't taken enough of that dollar yet.
Yeah. God.
So,
Mike, what's your resolution?
So, whiskey wise, not intended, but whiskey wise, it's to focus this back here, and down here, and down here, because it needs to be smaller, and take things down because there's stuff that's haven't touched in a really long time. And I was doing that last year. Every time somebody would ask me to come over, I would just bring stuff. And then, and when it was like at a third to a quarter, and I would say, just have it and just take it off the list and just try to clean stuff up. But I want to get more aggressive about that. That does not mean shipping bottles out to people, because then that kind of defeats the purpose of, paring things down when it's like, all right, so I've already bought the bottle. It's kind of like being taxed for your car all the time. You already paid my taxes once, and now I got to keep paying the taxes on the same vehicle. But that's my whiskey one, is focusing that. But then otherwise, it's my general one is, it's a blanket one, but I'll say it's do better. Whatever it is, do it better.
It's a good one for every year.
Yeah.
And every day. So I dig it. Very, very nice. Good resolutions too. Nothing too crazy. Sorry.
No.
Some people go bold and try to say they're going to work out. You don't get the right tasting notes if you start doing that.
Yeah.
Tastes like kale and no.
That's terrible right there. Let's not bring a kale for your whiskey.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't do it. But no, keep an eye out, because we will be posting when we will be having our Craft Whiskey Awards or Specialty Spirits Awards show coming up here shortly. And I'm going to be stopping at a couple different places on the way down to our destination. There is a liquor store, Grainworks. It's in Neenah, and they have been doing some really nice picks with some good craft distillers. I've watched them pick a few things, and they keep picking good distilleries, so I'm going to stop in there, maybe talk to them, just because I like what they're doing. They just did a pick of the OCD number 5 down at Glens Creek, and I was not expecting that from people around here, obviously, so I was very happy to see that. I mean, there's other people, we've done with that's one that is, I'd say, starting to hit the radar of more people, but it's well-deservedly so whenever you have it, especially with that OCD number 5 premium, which I'm hoping they're going to at least split, bottle some cask and some cut down strength version of it. But I'm gonna stop in there because they've had some other people that they've been done picks with, and I like what they're doing. So maybe, and they were doing something that they're gonna do, like, I don't know, it's called a gift set, but like a monthly set where they pick a certain, let's say, specialty whiskeys. They're trying to figure out what they're going to put in this, but basically like sample sets every month that they'll change up when you go in there, so you can grab a different sample set. I'm like, that's a really cool idea if you are having all these other, side whiskeys or barrel picks that you're doing, that you give people a way to, you can taste them when you're in the store. But I mean, that's a neat way to give people a way to try 3 or 4 of them at a point, or, like we like doing a tasting like that. I'm like, well, that really gears into doing something like that, because that's a nice way to do it. It's like, well, like if you do a pick like with Glens Creek, you usually could do a little sample of cask strength, a little sample at normal, and then any one of their other releases. That you would probably pick up one of the other ones if you're doing a barrel pick. And that's, to me, that's a fantastic sample set from somebody, because the premium is going to be probably 120. I'm just, from everyone's, at least about where that's going to land. So that's a good way to try a little bit of everything. And I haven't seen enough stores doing that. You know what I mean? Of their own product. So I thought that was a neat concept for them to be attempting. So other than that, I think I'm good for the evening. Oh yeah, Happy New Year, everybody.
Yeah, happy
New Year. May this be the best one yet.
Yeah, I'm thinking so. I'm feeling much better about it. But Mike, you're in charge of the buttons because my computer hates me.
I'm button boy.
You're button boy.
Okay.
It's your super.
You got those.
Let me navigate to where the buttons are, because they changed the name of it.
Yeah. Media assets now. They got fancy.
We put the ass in assets. All right.
All right.
Are you ready?
Ladies and gentlemen, remember, it's not the size of. Well, I can't even do it now because we're gonna have to change the ending. I don't know. I feel like that should get changed too.
It's not the size of the playhouse that matters.
Yeah. Well, it is though. I mean, so with a playhouse, it does matter. I should change that too. That does. I don't know. Yeah, we'll change a few things here before next week's show. Remember, It's not the size of the den that matters. It is the love of whiskey. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
Cheers.